Guys, that is so sick. Can you see who's sitting in there? These two compadres. Oh my god. I mean, when Hot Toys back in the day released these two amazing figures, I knew it that someday, eventually, we'll get a Mark II time machine. And mark my words, there will be a part 3 by Hot Toys as well. And of course, I'll get that one as well.
Hey, what's up guys, boys and girls, fellow collectors from all around the world. Ivan Seb, the French collector, is back for yet another video, guys. It's like 1,000,000 degrees out there and it's my first video of the year. I guess it's a bit too late to wish you all a happy new year. But anyway, I hope you guys have been doing well. I still got figures this year though, you know, I mean, I haven't stopped collecting, but you know, these past few years, every time I got a new figure in the collection or a new collectible, it's usually, most of the time, it's like months up to a year after its release. So, I mean, what's the point, you know, of making unboxing videos, reviews, when there's already like 20 videos out there on YouTube? But for this, I had to make a video. I mean, you guys know my love for Back to the Future. Obviously, I have the figures and both time machines from part 1 and part 2. Got this a few days ago and well, now it's time to unbox it. What a beautiful weather. It's so sunny out there. Look at this beautiful light coming in from the back. Almost looks like the gates of heaven. My apartment is such a mess right now, guys. I recently started to rearrange my collection a bit, but then 3 weeks ago I spent a couple days in the hospital. I got a surgery, nothing serious, don't worry, I'm fine. But obviously since then I felt quite tired and unmotivated, so you know, I got boxes all over the place, statues literally on the floor. I got the new Hot Toys Indiana Jones recently, Dial of Destiny. The new Hot Toys Joker, he's still in his box. I haven't unboxed it yet, but let's start with this time machine right now. I'm a bit anxious. I hope I'll be luckier than with my part 2 DeLorean, because when I got this one back in the day, it was faulty. The time circuits wouldn't light up, so I had to send it back and ask for a replacement. So hopefully everything will be fine with this one. Damn, Hot Toys really making an effort even on the shipper boxes right now. Beautiful artwork. We got the Hill Valley sign on top, nice little touch, beautiful. And well, that is beautiful already. I love it. Look at this beautiful artwork. I'm gonna try to gently take it out without tearing it. Beautiful. So these are the instructions, I guess. Again, just like part 2. Yes, but again, beautiful artwork. You can frame it. It's really, really nice. I wish they'd done this for the part 1 DeLorean back in the day as well. But yeah, it's really nice. So like always, we have the flux bands. This is nothing new, but check out the hood, man. This is why I love the part 3 time machine so much, because those details on the hood are incredible. So I can't wait to unwrap this. Here we have the train wheels, which are they're huge, damn, and beautifully painted and sculpted. I love those little welds here. Very nice, very, very nice. Then here we have the hubcaps that go on the other wheels. Mr. Fusion again. What's this? Oh, we have the firebox temperature gauge. Nice. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put batteries in there and check if everything works. That's my main concern right now. Oh wow. I love it. I love those wheels. Should have bought 2 actually. It's my 3rd DeLorean, so you'd think by now I would be used to it, but every time it's
I can't explain it. What a feeling. This is truly the greatest trilogy of all time. I love these movies so much. Well, I could be wrong now. I'd have to check, but wasn't the license plate on the second DeLorean a sticker? It actually looks like a metal part here. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's check the lights first.
Okay, so just like for the part 2 time machine, push that button once. The headlights light up and the turn signals. Again, they did not get it right. I mean, just like for the previous time machines, the headlights are on as well. They're almost never on in the movie. Time circuits working. Ceiling lights working too, I think. Flux capacitor fluxing. Unlike the second DeLorean, there are no lights on the undercarriage. I mean, they are there, but they won't light up. And then press that button a second time and boom, the reactor vents light up, and that's beautiful. I have to turn off the lights in here, close the blinds to really check those lights in the dark, see if everything works. But so far, seems to be working. I think the time circuits could be a bit brighter. It's only really lit up in the center, but I'll check with the lights off in a few minutes. Let's assemble everything now. Start by closing this. And look at this, we got loads of things to do.
Okay, by now I know how this works. This is the third time doing this now. Fuck me. It's still scary as hell. These little plastic parts in the back of the flux bands are so fragile. Okay, 1 done. 2, okay, done. Okay. Well, this is driving me nuts right now. It looks like it's too short and it won't reach that last slot. Let's try it again. Done. Well, that was easy. I gotta insert these wires in there now. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm sweating like crazy. It feels like I just took a shower with my clothes on, but it's not just because of the weather. It's a crazy hot day, but then there's the excitement as well, you know? And it's so fragile. Every time I do this, feels like I'm defusing a bomb, you know? But anyway, I'm almost done here. And before I put them on the dashboard, let me show you the beautiful details on this alarm clock. Amazing. And on the firebox temperature gauge. Now, inserting the alarm clock in that slot on the dashboard was a bit tedious, like always, because I got huge hands. However, for this gauge, it'll be much easier because it's magnetized. The only little problem is that the wire keeps falling out. That's not a big problem, but for the life of me, I can't remember where I put my super glue. So this is how it works. We got this little part that's magnetized and it goes right here. And then the gauge goes on it. That is beautiful. And then the wire, like I said, I'll glue it back to the gauge later. I can't find my super glue, but the lower part of the wire is magnetized as well, goes underneath the dashboard. Boom, that's it. Now there's this famous scene where the time machine is being towed by horses. So part 3 version comes with a tow bar. It is magnetized as well. It goes here. Now I forgot that we have these wires also to attach. They come in here. So let's do this. So it's a bitch doing this with one hand, but that's how it looks. Then of course, obviously, Mr. Fusion that comes on top.
So the sun is starting to set and I'm losing light. But anyway, now we have some extra wiring that goes on the dashboard, so you can bend it like this, and then the other end goes under the dashboard. Then we have the hubcaps, which are apparently magnetized. Let's try it. I guess there's a slight inaccuracy. I think they're supposed to be much bigger. They look bigger on the wheels in the movie, but still very nice nonetheless. Wow, I absolutely love the weathering on these tires. You know, that dirt, sand effect, you know, driving in the Old West. It's beautiful. So we got this magnet to remove them with a little piece of velvet so you don't scratch them. But wow, holy shit. And now comes my favorite part. Oh, wow. I can't wait to see this installed. Okay, so there's a spring and it goes in there. And then the other side. Yo, man, this is fantastic. I love it. Now, because of those belts, the hood doesn't completely closes. You see there's a bit of a gap here, and doesn't matter how hard you try, there's always going to be that gap either on one side or the other. See, it looks perfect here, but it doesn't sit flush here, but that's not a big problem. However, my main concern is that these belts, being made of pleather, they will eventually deteriorate, I guess. But you know, I think it doesn't look like it would be too complicated to make custom real leather belts. So we'll see in the future. I lifted the time machine because now it's time to test the off-road mode. So, damn, I hope nothing breaks. Let's try this. Front wheels turn like always, obviously. And then the off-road mode, you know, drive in the desert. Basically, there's a spring, you gotta pull hard on the wheel. Don't be afraid. Okay, so that wheel is now in off-road mode. I'm gonna try it on the other side. The back wheel, for example. Okay. And basically, if you want to put it back in regular drive mode, somewhere in there, there's a button. Boom, and the wheel will go back to its original position. Let's try it again. Amazing. That's crazy. Man, they really thought this out. They thought about everything. It's beautiful. The only thing, man, that's ugly, is these 4 screws in the back here. Oh man, okay. But other than that, holy shit, that is perfect. Now, it could just be me. Maybe I'm wrong, but in my memories, I think that at least in some shots, I think when Marty departs from 1955 to go to the Old West, it looks like only the front of the car is higher. So I'm gonna try something now. Let me put the rear wheels, the back wheels, in regular mode and see how it looks. Boom. Same on the other side. Okay. So you see, this is what I meant. I think it looks pretty cool. You know, regular mode in the back and off-road mode in the front. Again, I could be wrong, but I think it does look like this in a few shots in a movie. Obviously, if I do display it with the off-road mode, it'll be with the 4 wheels down. But just for this video, or for a couple pictures, I think this looks pretty cool. Anyway, now let's see what it looks like with the lights on. Wow. Damn, those LEDs are so bright. It's beautiful. So, like I said earlier, my only little nitpick, but it's not a big deal, is that the high beams are constantly switched on. So maybe at some point I'll try to disconnect those LEDs to make it a bit more movie accurate, you know, without breaking anything. I'll see. But yeah, also compared to the Mark II, I do believe that it could also just be me. I'd have to compare it with my Mark II, but I think that on the Mark III here, this translucent piece of plastic here is a bit more see-through compared to the Mark II, because here you can clearly see those LEDs in there, whereas I think that plastic on the Mark II was a bit more opaque. It is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. I still don't know, is this, I have to check on my Mark II now. Wasn't it a sticker? You guys let me know in the comments. I thought it was a sticker, whereas here it looks like a real metal license plate. Now let's check the inside. Yeah, what a relief. Everything works. Yeah, the light bulb must be right in the center of that time circuit there, because this is why it doesn't look as bright on the left and right side. But yeah, it's okay. It looks great. It looks great. Let's check the ceiling. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Have a look at the flux capacitor there in the back. Dogs arguing in the street. I don't know if you can hear them. I can. Now seen from the other side. This is impressive. This is so impressive. Wow. And then we have 3 more lights behind the passenger seat here that are actually so well hidden by the passenger seat that when you're standing on the other side of the car, it almost looks like they're switched off. So I got a bit scared here. I gotta check, but yeah, everything's working perfectly. Damn. That was beautiful, but we're not completely done. Now, oh yeah, I love this. So let's take these out. I'm gonna start by taking these out. Now this review is taking forever. It's almost 11 p.m. now. I'll probably have to finish it tomorrow, but I really want to see how this looks with the train wheels on. Okay, let's put this one in there. Now for these wheels, my Swiss Army knife didn't work, so I'm using my other screwdriver. And then we have this little cover to hide the screw. Is this magnetized as well? Yes, it is. So this is the type of modification that will take you a few minutes. So I don't see myself doing this change every other day. So this is why I said earlier, I really should have bought 2 because I love both versions. But yeah. I thought these train wheels had different screws, but actually they're the same than the other wheels. So basically you just get 4 extra screws in case you lose one. That's nice. And the last cover, okay, the magnet also works for these. Well, listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I couldn't wait till I get my Mark III time machine, and I always thought when I finally get it, that's how I'm gonna display it, you know, with those train wheels on. Well, because it just looks badass, and because, well, the most epic, the most iconic scene in that movie is the ending, you know, when it's pushed by that locomotive. It's amazing. And now, seeing it like this in front of me with my own eyes, I'm not blown away. And don't get me wrong, those wheels are beautiful. The way they're sculpted and painted, like I said earlier, with those welds, and see that rust effect, especially around those screws. It's beautiful. It's very nicely painted. I love it. But displaying this time machine with the train wheels on, but without a railroad base, well, it just looks freaking stupid. You know, it looks dumb. And as much as I love Hot Toys, I gotta say that is so cheap that, you know, they didn't give us a railroad base. I mean, it wouldn't have taken so much space in the box
You know, I mean, Dan, just give us 2 rails and a few pieces of wood. We could have assembled it ourselves, but no. What I'm gonna do, and I'll save this for another video, probably at some point during the summer, I'll try to build my own railroad base. But until then, I'll keep the 1950s wheels on, because they are beautiful as well. Now this is how the off-road mode looks with the train wheels on. Obviously not movie accurate, but I thought I'd show you just out of curiosity, you know. I actually think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, those wheels will now come off, and I'll put the other ones back on until I get my railroad base. Well, obviously for the conclusion of this video, I had to take out Marty and Doc, and look, sunlight again out there. That's the magic of editing. Now these 2 figures, guys, are freaking insane. These are my favorite of the Hot Toys Back to the Future line. I already said that when I reviewed them back in the day, but these 2, the clothing is so impressive. It almost looks custom made. These look like custom figures, especially Marty. Look at that shirt. The stitching on the belt is incredible. But anyway, we're not reviewing the figures again. What can I say about, look at this, this is beautiful. Oh man, I can't believe this. So what can I say about this Mark III DeLorean? I absolutely love it, but first of all, a few little nitpicks, nothing major. I already said that twice, but hell, I'm gonna say the 3rd time, the high beams. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but yeah, I just wish Hot Toys gave us a separate additional button hidden somewhere under the bumper to switch the high beams on or off. But yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, I'll try to disconnect them. I think that this DeLorean would have been much cheaper, much more affordable if it didn't come with all those light-up features, which in my point of view look amazing but are unnecessary. Because at no point in Back to the Future Part 3 do we see the time machine with the headlights or the rear lights on, because all scenes with the time machine in Part 3 take place during daytime. So I understand those light-up features might be important for collectors who only have that one version. But for example, someone like me who owns now all 3 versions of the Hot Toys DeLorean, truly the one you want to display with the lights on is the Mark II, because that's the cool factor of the Mark II. It's futuristic, everything lights up like a Christmas tree. You got the wheels that light up, you got lights underneath the car. But yeah, for the Part 3 time machine, except the time circuits and the flux capacitor, nothing else really should light up. So that's a bit unnecessary, and well, that's what made it more expensive. But another nitpick is that the only other thing that should light up are the flux bands, and now this is the 3rd time machine we get by Hot Toys, and they still didn't give us flux bands that light up, you know. And this is something apparently that Blitzway will do, so I can't wait for that version. Yeah, look, it looks just as beautiful and perfect with the lights off. And well, I think this is how I'm gonna forever display mine, you know. For the sake of screen accuracy, I'm not even gonna bother using batteries or buying a USB cable. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I much rather Hot Toys had given us light-up features on their Mark I back in the day, but it is what it is. And you know what? I feel it coming. I can see it coming clear as day in 5 years or maybe in 10 years for the 45th. Or the 50th anniversary of the first movie. Hot Toys will give us a 2.0 version. Maybe then we will have finally flux bands that light up, and hopefully then they'll get the rims right as well. Now truly the cool factor of this Mark III DeLorean is the off-road mode. It makes the car look sick, you know. It's almost like a tank, you know, or a rally car, a buggy. It looks freaking insane. I absolutely love this. However, something to watch out for is, you know, always keep in mind this is a high-end collectible. It's fragile, it's not a toy, it's not meant to play with. And I fear that some collectors out there will constantly, you know, keep going back and forth between off-road mode and regular drive mode, and at some point maybe damage the spring in there. So, you know, make up your mind how you want to display it and just leave it as is, I guess. You know, I sent pictures of this beauty to a friend of mine last night, and he said, well, it actually makes no sense to display it in regular drive mode, because in the movie it's always in off-road mode. So why even give us the opportunity to switch from one to the other, you know? Well, he has a point, but you need the regular drive mode if you're gonna display it with the train wheels on. Earlier in this video, I said that I love how they weathered the tires, you know, and added that desert dirt effect on the tires. And I was thinking, since I now have all three versions of the car, maybe I could weather this one even a bit more, you know, add some dirt all over the, at least the lower part of the body. But you know what? I just realized a few minutes ago that Hot Toys actually did it. You know, it's very subtle. I guess they didn't want to overdo it. Maybe again for the collectors who don't own the other two versions, but it's there. So let me use my my flashlight now and show you. See, so the front bumper, they even weathered the tow bar, which is a separate piece, weathered it as well. Wheels and tires, beautiful. Even the inside of the, what is it called in English? The wheel arch or the wheel well. And then let's check the door. So yeah, it's very subtle, but it's there and it's very nice. It's great. I mean, I can't believe this. It's so subtle that I didn't notice it when I unboxed it last night. But yeah, it's very well done. It's beautiful. Now I'll just quickly show you the back of the car, even though it's exactly the same as the Mark II. But yeah, I love it. So beautiful. All these bright colors, you know, metallic red, metallic blue, and these rainbow wires here, beautiful. I have to say though, I do prefer the Mark I when it comes to the rear end of the time machine. I prefer the look of the plutonium chamber rather than Mr. Fusion. I got nothing against Mr. Fusion, I'm just not a fan of that huge blank space all around it, whereas the Mark I has many more details. And again, my favorite part is, well, the thrusters here are absolutely beautiful. Look at all those little weld marks here. And especially what I love most is this bluish purple tint here. You know how they painted it is beautiful. The oxidation due to high temperature, it's very well done. Now truly for me, the highlight of this car is this part right here. I mean, this is so impressive. I remember when I was a kid, I saw this, I was like, whoa. It's so impressive. So well, this is basically a makeshift time circuit controller. It's what most fans refer to as the time circuit control tube. You know, and it just shows how Doc repaired the time machine with 1955 era parts using, you know, vintage vacuum tubes and coils, copper wires. We got old military surplus parts, connectors. It's insane, insane. Take a look at these gauges, man. Wow. I'm blown away. This is mind-blowing. This is truly the eye-catching element of this new version of the time machine. I love it. Now, one little missing thing though is I wish this time machine came with the 3 Presto logs Doc uses at the end of the movie. Even though technically he doesn't use them in the time machine, right? He uses them, he throws them in the firebox of that locomotive in the final act. But still, they are important props in this movie. Every fan remembers those Presto logs. I think there was a green one, a yellow one, and a red one. And since we have this new gauge now inside this car, I think it would have been nice to have the Presto logs, you know, to put them on display, maybe on the passenger seat. But it is what it is, you know. Back in the day when Hot Toys gave us the Mark I, they also forgot to include the hook that Marty uses to conduct that lightning bolt inside the time machine, even though Hot Toys added that little hole to insert the hook, but they didn't give us the hook. So yeah, sometimes I don't know how Hot Toys thinks, you know. They will give you unnecessary features, sometimes that nobody asked for, but then they will forget the most important details. Like I said earlier, right? The fact that we didn't get a railroad base with this car, that is unforgivable. When I was a teenager, I had 3 time machines. I can't remember the brand, but those die-cast 1/18 scale time machines, right? And the Part 3 time machine came with a railroad base. So the fact we don't get one here, I mean, there's absolutely no excuse. But like I said, I will try to make my own probably during the summer. And why not also make my own custom Presto logs? I don't think it would be too difficult.
Now, I remember some collectors complaining back in the day that their Marty and Doc figures wouldn't fit inside their DeLorean. Well, I don't know what they're talking about. I never had a problem with mine. However, with these versions, it might be a bit more complicated because they're wearing hats. So, you know what, I'm not even gonna try it. I don't want to damage or scratch the paint or whatever. But yeah, I doubt this will work though. Not with the doors closed at least. Well, I guess it's time to wrap this up. I think I covered pretty much everything. What more can I say, guys? You know, if I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. The Back to the Future trilogy are and forever will be my favorite movies. You know, nothing's ever gonna change that. I love these movies with all my heart because these movies have so much heart, right? I couldn't even tell you which one I love most. I guess cinematically speaking and story-wise, the first one is the best one, but I love them all almost equally. But when I was a kid and even in my teenage years, for many years, Part 3 was my favorite, simply because I've always had a passion for, you know, the outdoors and the Old West and all these Western movies, and also because the car looks so badass in Part 3. So to have this now in the collection, it's, I mean, that feeling, you know, it's just amazing. It's priceless. I should be sad now because this is now the 3rd and last Hot Toys DeLorean. So this is the end of this 1/6 trilogy, but actually no, because soon Blitzway will release their version of the Mark II. So something I find a bit strange is apparently, if I read it well, I think I read somewhere that Blitzway is doing this for the 40th anniversary of the first movie. So why give us a Mark II then? Why not the Mark I? But yeah, anyway, I'm still looking forward to this. So this won't be my last Back to the Future video on my channel. And like I said, you know, stay tuned. I'm gonna make a railroad base pretty soon. See how this looks, you know, how this turns out. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. See you soon. And that's it. That was Yves Seb, the French Collector. And I'm out of here, guys. Peace. Okay, something absolutely unrelated to this video right now, but I'm just looking at Doc's walkie-talkie now, and I'm like, oh no, the antenna broke off. Turns out I've had these figures for 2 years now, and just realized the antenna on those walkie-talkies are retractable. Damn!